Hi guys, welcome to Connectra, a platform where we're uniting and uplifting all the businesses of the Jain community. Today we're sitting down with someone who's turned her kitchen into one of Bombay's most creative culinary spaces, Jayanta Mehta, the heart and hands behind Anytime Sushi and beyond. So grab your chopsticks, this one's going to be a treat for all of you. Hi Jayanta, what's up? How are you?
Hi, Vitali. Good, doing great. So excited to be here today.
So excited to hear your story too. So tell me, you started as a home chef, experimenting in your own kitchen. What was the moment when you realized that this could be more than just a hobby?
So basically, it all started in the lockdown. I have a very close friend, and she actually asked me that during Raksha Bandhan that my brother doesn't have anything sweet, so could you make something savory? And we brainstormed a bit, and I just suggested to her that would it be okay if I try a sushi cake? And she was intrigued by the idea, and she said, "Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that." And yeah, I sent it out to her. They loved it. She put it up on her groups and in her friends and family. And the next day, I started getting calls asking if I could make sushi cakes for them and everything. Overnight, I just made like a small hand typed menu and just put it out there. And I think there's just no looking back since that day. It's been 5 years now, and it's been great.
Amazing. So the name itself is so intriguing. Anytime Sushi and beyond. How did that come to life?
So there are two reasons for this. One is I have a younger daughter. She started baking when she was in the 8th standard.
Wow.
And and she then had her own page and then she called it Inland Bakes. So after, she's been quite an inspiration for me to start off a business, because if she could do it at 14, I think it was time that I also like give it a shot. And just so happened that after brainstorming, we decided that let's just stick to the Inland family. And that's how the name came up. And we added the beyond to it because I love cooking. So we just thought that, in case in future sometime we want to like elaborate and put in more things to it. So we just said, let that be an open-ended thing. And the second most important thing for me, why I thought of this name, was for me, I love sushis. And any time is sushi time. Any time of the day, there's no wrong time to have sushi. So I think this day was, just perfect to go with.
Sushi is traditionally a Japanese delicacy. Why did you decide to make it 100% vegetarian and Jain friendly? And what was the initial response like?
So I'm a pure vegetarian myself. So obviously there was no two ways about having it any other way. It was going to be vegetarian sushis. It's just that when I started off, sushis weren't as popular as they are today. And there are a lot of Jain people who don't eat in mixed restaurants. They are very particular that you follow the principles of Jainism. And being a Jain myself, I understood those very well. So for me, it was very easy to connect with what their requirements were and what they would like. And so, of course, it just organically happened that I added the Jain sushis along with it. To the extent that right now, 80% of my menu is Jain. And maybe 20% is non-Jain. So that's how, it went about.
Your sushi is a bridge between Tokyo and Bombay. How do you strike the balance between authentic Japanese techniques and Indian creativity?
Um, so all the ingredients that we actually use are purely Japanese. Like we use the sushi rice, we have the sushi vinegar, the nori sheet, the togarashi powder, wasabi, the gari. Whatever we use are authentically Japanese items. The seasoning techniques that we follow, the rolling techniques that we follow, the cutting techniques that we follow are all predominantly traditionally Japanese. The only place where we tweak it is the flavors that we add inside. So that part comes our Indian creativity that is added to it. And that's how we just curate something which gets interesting also.
Where did you taste your first sushi?
It was at this restaurant called Josh. And that was like more than I think 10, 12 years ago. And in fact, the waiter actually came up and he taught us exactly how to have the sushi. And that's the first time I had it. I loved it, and there was just like no good. I think every once in every month we used to go back to Josh just to have sushi there.
to running a delivery-based business from your home is no small feat. What challenges do you face in managing everything from your kitchen?
Yes, I definitely there's a lot of challenges that we face on a daily basis. One of the most important challenges that we face is the space management. So we're already having a full-fledged running home, and in that we've like kind of brought in an entire business, running of the business. So it's not space just in terms of the kitchen. It's in terms of the refrigerator. It's in terms of the dining table that we require, the dining hall per se. Like we have our boxes kept there and everything. So space is one thing. Inventory management is another issue that you face. And I think the third and the most important one on a daily basis is logistics. So we have doorbells ringing from 7:30 in the morning. We have the vegetable vendor coming in. Then we have Zepto or whatever we've ordered online that comes in. Then we have VFast deliveries happening. Then we have people who've come up to pick up their orders. So yeah. So there's constantly that whole thing in a running household. That gets a little complicated. But the beautiful part of it is the support that you get from your family. And that's really amazing because we have our season times, say during Raksha Bandhan is one of my absolute seasons. Like we got crazy work during Raksha Bandhan. And that time when my husband comes back from work, like he'll also say, okay, how many orders tomorrow? What boxes do you want me to make? And then he'll kind of set up and he'll start making all the boxes for us. Then my daughter would come up and say, okay, I'll do all the stickers. And the other daughter would say, okay, let me just write down your orders, the list as per the delivery timings and everything. So it's just like one whole holistic, everybody's coming together to just make this particular aspect of yours like perfect. They even run down for deliveries. Like when the season comes, everybody's at work, and it's just amazing. It gives you just so much happiness and love. Yeah.
So what does the beyond part of your brand include? Please tell us about your brand and what all does it do, and where you find it.
So the beyond part we've kept this as a very open-ended menu. It right now includes flavored artisanal cheese. It includes crackers. Then we have dips. We have desserts. And when it comes to even sushis, it's not just sushis and sushi cakes. We do a lot of hampers, which include the sushi and the sushi cakes, along with other things. We curate charcuterie boards, and also if you have a party requirement. Then based on what your requirement is, we are happy to kind of customize things for you. So the time we do certain starters, we do sliders, whatever is required for your party and all that. So we incorporate all those particular things. Like this Diwali, we came up with a small starter menu also. But that's seasonal.
Yeah.
So things like that. So we just keep it very open-ended. As per the season, we keep changing what we want to do for that time.
So your platters are visually stunning. How important is presentation for you, and where do you draw the inspiration from?
So for me, food is not just about eating. It's a holistic experience. And for me, food is basically art. And this art has to be enjoyed by all your five senses. So when a platter is presented to you, it's kept in front of you, what is the first experience that you're going to feel? It's the visual experience. And if that is amazing, I think half your battle is won. So presentation is very, very important for me. Like, let me just substantiate this by giving an example. Okay, you're a Guju, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, my friend. So, you all make khichu?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, we also Gujaratis, we make khichu at home. Khichu is a very boring looking thing. Now, in case I just mix some khichu and just keep it in front of you. And as against, I kind of take it, roll it into small little bite-sized pieces, and then put a hole in it, put some drizzle, some methi masala and oil on it, garnish it with a small coriander or something, and then just plate it very, very neatly. What would you run to pick up?
Obviously,
Yeah. So it's the visual experience that you experience first, which I think wins. It's half your body is one. You just go by that.
That's a nice idea. I'm gonna try it. Just put
Yeah.
So you emphasize mindful cooking and very little waste. Can you share a few ways in which you practice this?
So we basically predominantly do this by taking pre-orders only. We do not work on same order basis or same day order basis. So we have curated our portion sizes based on the amount of raw ingredients that we require, be it the rice, be it the vegetables and everything. So by doing this, the amount of wastage is also highly reduced because we cook exactly that amount of rice that you require for that day's orders and cut, chop vegetables or fry them according to what is required as per those day's orders. So in this way, we try and minimize maximum.
That's very important.
Yeah.
So you built this beautiful brand purely through word of mouth. How does that make you feel that your customers keep coming back to you again and again over the years?
It feels very, very amazing and it feels humbling at the same time. Thanks, praise of God. So basically, I feel for a brand to be successful, the most important thing is consistency. So consistency where taste is concerned, consistency as far as the flavoring, technique, the visual appearance, everything is concerned. So I feel that is one of the most important things. And like I told you, we have a lot of giant clientele. So let me just take you behind my kitchen doors and just explain what we do there. We are first of all very particular that we cook everything. We don't use previous night things. We cook everything fresh in the morning. Our vegetables also are delivered in the morning. So everything is like very fresh. Secondly, for Jain and non-Jain, we have separate knives, we have separate chopping boards. And if I have Jain and non-Jain orders on the same day, I first finish all my Jain orders and only then take the non-Jain. So we are very particular. These are small nuances, small things, but we really take care of these minute little things so that our product doesn't have any complaints or anything, and we do our best to see that we don't hurt anybody's sentiments in these things.
Minute but very important.
Yeah, very important.
So you often mention that you remember your customers by names and their favorite roles. What's the most heartwarming customer feedback you've ever received?
Oh, we have too many that I would love to say, and I think if I start off, I don't think there'll be an end. I think we can just go on for hours together here. But I think one story that I would love to mention here is that I just started off, and it was just a few months into my journey, and this one person, he called up and he said that he would like to order. He didn't know much about sushis, and the sushi cake just intrigued. The idea was fascinating. So he asked me a couple of questions and he just left it to me, and he said, okay, do something that you think I would like. And he took it home, called me up in some time. He said, oh, everybody's loved it and all that. The next 10-15 days, he's ordered about, I think, 15-20 cakes. Okay. And randomly must have sent it off to his friends, letters or whatever. From that time, I've been getting calls and just saying, "Arey, wo Kishore ne jo order kiya tha na, mujhe wo chahiye." And this thing has just carried on. It's been 5 years. I still get calls saying that, oh, Kishore wala cake, and we've actually named that Kishore Special. When I actually do the order, I'm not joking, but I actually write down the order. I don't write the flavor. I write Kishore Special is the flavor. That is how it is. So, that's one story which is fascinating. Then I have people who actually just call and say, two rolls for tomorrow. And I just know exactly what they want because they've been ordering the same thing for so many years now, since time I started till now. And I also know that this is the time they want it because they want to send it to their child in school or what it is, and how to pack it also. And yeah, the fascinating story that happened just here right now. The co-founder here also orders from us. And when I saw him, we had a brief conversation. And I said, oh, yeah, Kunzi, right? I know you. So, yeah, it's lovely. We have, there's one more thing I'd like to mention. There was my youngest sushi fan was a 3-year-old boy.
Wow.
That was so heartwarming when his mom called him. I said, my bacha 3 साल का है पर आपके sushi बहुत प्रेम से खाता है. And she sent me a video of him having it. It was so cute. So we have lovely testimonials. People come back with such warm and encouraging feedbacks. Can't thank them enough. Yeah.
If you could create a sushi roll inspired by Bombay, what would you call it and what would be in it?
I think the most loved food about Bombay that I love personally is vada pav. So for me, it's going to be a vada pav sushi if I have to experiment. And what I would do is I would take the vada pav masala and I would fry it into a tempura, roll it in my sushi, and then put that spicy red chutney on top of it, and maybe drizzle it with some, the green chutney, and have it sliced mirchi, the fried mirchi on top of it. And I think that's what I would do. I think I'm already drooling.
Sounds very tempting. Let's try.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to add here that I'm not sure if you know, but I'm from South. So I come from Kerala. And sometime back, I actually tried a South Indian touch to a sushi. So I had done these onion tempuras and rolled them into a sushi. And I rolled the entire sushi in the gunpowder. And I made a mixture of curry patta with some masala and things and like drizzled on top of it. Yes. And I loved it. So it was an experiment. So it was just at home. They first cribbed about the fact that, oh my God, how can you do this? And when they tried it, they liked it out. So I think it was very good. Not sure if all these will ever go on the menu, but I just love it.
Yeah, but the vada pav should go on.
You think so? Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's do a mini food rapid fire with you. So tell us, what do you like more, wasabi or soy sauce?
Wasabi.
Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Any day. Chopsticks or fork?
Chopstick for Asian food, otherwise fork.
Cheese platter or sushi platter?
Hands down, sushi platter.
One ingredient you can't live without?
Like I told you, I'm from down south, soybean rice.
Okay. So yeah, that's how sushi is.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's one funny kitchen disaster that you still remember?
So this was again in the initial years when I started off, and it was like I told you, Raksha Bandhan is one of my heaviest seasons. Yeah, we have crazy orders, and this must have been, I think, my second Raksha Bandhan or something. And we started working at around 2 in the morning. And at around 4 o'clock, I started cutting my avocados. And we had, I got must be like 8 to 10 kilos of avocados. And while I was cutting them, I realized that almost 70-80% of them were spoiled. They look great from outside, but from inside they were spoiled. And I had my delivery starting at 8 in the morning. So I was in so much stress and so much of anxiety as how I manage. At 4:30, I must have called my vegetable vendor, really not expecting that she would pick up. And I called her up and she actually picked up my phone. It was like a miracle. And then I just told her, I said, listen, like so many avocados are so bad and how the hell do I finish the orders? And she said, don't worry, I have 2-3 kilos of meat right now. I'll just come and give it to you. You just start making your things, and then again I go to market, and again by 7:30 I'll give you the next order, which was good enough for me. At least my morning, that 8 o'clock orders I could have done. And 5 o'clock sharp in the morning, my doorbell rings. She comes with this crate of 3-4 kilos of avocados, and I start working on it. This is one story I will never ever forget in my life. Hell means, what do you tell the customers? You can't even call them at 8 in the morning and say, sorry, I can't do this because of this fiasco that happened, So, but in God's grace, every single delivery was on time. Each and every cake was made, each and every sushi was done, and it all went very smooth. So I don't think the story is something I'll ever forget.
Okay. So, if you could collaborate with any chef or any brand, who would it be and why?
So there are a lot of people who I follow on Instagram who I've seen grow in the past so many years, and some of them have really reached great heights. Really, they have been a great inspiration for me. There are lots of them, like naming a few, maybe I'd say Manpreet. She's been one of the oldest person. I think I've been following her for more than 5 years, more than 6 years now. Saloni Kukreja, I love her reels, I love the way she does things. Moldova Curry, she's also come up during the lockdown time. Shivesh, there are so many of them. And I take a lot of inspiration from them. I follow a lot of their recipes. And I think if I get a chance, I would like to work with them. Saloni Kukreja always keeps saying that she wants to start an Asian-inspired cafe. So if she's looking for collaborators, I don't think I would mind collaborating with her. let's keep our fingers crossed.
So, what's one dish you haven't created yet but can't wait to try it someday?
So I'm basically a science student, and the science part of cooking really interests me a lot. So molecular cooking is something that I'm intrigued with. I haven't tried it, but if I get a chance, maybe I'll give it.
You call all the science students.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, we've heard of so many interesting dishes and so many interesting roles. Where do we find you?
So you can look us up on Instagram at Anytime Sushi and Beyond. My phone number is also there, so you can contact us, you can DM us, you can call us, we're always a call away, or you can WhatsApp us.
Great. So, also, have you ever received any special requests from your, customers?
Yeah, so this was one time, there was this chomasa which was very long. We had a 5-line chomasa a couple of years ago. So at that time, a lot of my clients were actually fasting. And they requested, if you can make something that they can have during fasting, some kind of a sushi or sushi cake that they could have during fasting. So I started, curating a sauce for it and all that. And we never really promoted it anywhere, but during every chomasa, we get a lot of orders from our clients for this chomasa special. So we call it chomasa special, where we do use raw vegetables, and if it is a fasting special, then there are no raw vegetables used. But we curate the sauce and everything from base. We make it Jaina Purvak as per the understanding of the religious thing. And I think that is one of the most interesting things that I have tried and successfully.
Without any promotion.
Yes, yeah, no promotions at all.
Great. So tell us finally, what changes do you see in yourself before and after Anytime Sushi?
I think the major change is discipline. So I think this whole journey has taught me to work backwards. So if we have an order going out at 11 o'clock, and I count the number of orders that I have, so I know at what time you have to start. I have learned how much time I take to pre-prep and how much time I take per order. It's been a record that I don't think we've ever been late for a single delivery. If it is at 7:30 in the morning, also a person wants a delivery, and if they told us beforehand, their order is ready at 7:25, but not a minute late. So I think discipline is one of the things that I have really, really learned.
Amazing. So thank you so much, Janita, for sharing your journey and for reminding us that the best food often comes from the heart. If you guys haven't already, go check out her page. Her craft stations are beautiful, and you'll find her on Instagram as Anytime Sushi and Beyond. One scroll and you will be craving sushi in all its forms and colors. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mitali, for having me over. I really, really had a lovely time. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for tuning in. For more such podcasts, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.